Hello, welcome all the aspirants of civil service examination. Now we are having the podcast about optional subject or is optional may we are mainly talking about the history optional. Now history optional is an optional which is one of the popular optionals and we have Vineet sir. Now Vineet sir will be discussing about the optional. He has been taking the optional from last 16 years and one of the renowned faculty of ORN, and he has been teaching the subject of this optional, and more than 120 selections he has made in the last few years. The civil service examination as well as the state service examination. And तो इस optional को लेके बहुत सारे myths हैं that has to be understood, and the focus will be on those questions. Now, first question is that why history optional? What are the benefits of that? Sir will be discussing.
Thank you, Pramod sir, for having me here at Edge IAS. Now, as you have asked about the question, why history should be chosen as optional paper? So there are so many forte, so many positive points about history as optional. The first thing that it is very static subject. It means that regular updation is not needed. Okay. It doesn't mean that you cannot add the current affairs, so national and international current happenings you can incorporate in answer. That would be enhancing the score. But regular updation is not needed, the first thing. The second thing is there is always overlapping with general studies because the students of history optional, they have to study 4 parts: ancient, medieval history, modern history and world history. And all these parts are there in, you can say, general studies. Ancient, medieval and modern are there in prelims along with art and culture, and then world history, modern history along with art and culture is there in mains. So there is a large chunk of overlapping with general studies, and that's why the students who are having history as optional, definitely they would be having the natural, you can say, benefits. Along with that, we find that now in India and you can say the whole world, we find that there are new trend is being seen, and that trend is the trend of revivalism. And it is very quite natural that every citizen of a country, and especially being a bureaucrat, you must back to your roots. So history is a subject which brings you to your roots, because if you are not associated with your roots, definitely there will be hollowness and the things would not be going for the benefits of the nation. So it is the special duty of a bureaucrat to be in future that he must be associated to his roots, the roots and the culture of the nation, and history as a subject offers the opportunity so that you can back to your roots. So this is also an important angle at the time of selection of history as an optional paper. Along with, we find that for history optional, if somebody wants to choose history as optional, no special background is needed. Because if you are coming from science background or arts background, history would be always like easy to understand. And so a specific background is not needed. Not only the students coming from humanities, but the students who are coming from science background, they have also done very well in history optional. Because some of my students who are there from science background, they have done tremendous well. For example, one of my student, I remember Ansuya Prasad Chamola, he is in postal service, and he had scored more than 61% in history, and he was MSc from, you can say, with mathematics. Along with that, we find that there is another student of mine, Nisha Gupta. She was from mathematics background, and she also did very good score. She scored almost 55%. So we find that the students who are having science background, and if they are not choosing science as their optional, for them history is very, you can say, a wonderful subject. They can score, you can say, score very well in this subject.
Coming to the success ratio, so I would like to know what is the success ratio. Sir mentioned about few students who have made it to the finalists in spite of being the science student. So sir, just look at the camera and just tell the aspirants what are the success ratio and how at Edge IAS, how you are going to help the aspirants to crack this optional.
See, history is a evergreen subject. Always it has been evergreen subject. The students who are having history as optional, they do not have to play on bouncing wicket. So if you want to play on bouncing wicket, you have to have the caliber of Rahul Dravid and Lakshman. So, but if you do not have the that kind of caliber, means I want to say that the simple students also they can do very well in history optional. Because first thing is that the specific background is not needed. The second thing that though it is said that the syllabus is a bit vast, but you see there is a very great interconnectedness on overlapping in history optional. I can take one example that, for example, if you see the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, or you can say the American Revolution, the Quit India movement. So we find that all these revolution or movements, they are the product of internal and external factors, political, social, economic, religious, and you can say loopholes. So these loopholes are there almost in all countries, though the immediate cause would be different, but the other factors would be more or less similar. So there is a huge overlapping, or you can say interconnectedness between different topics. So if you are good at you can say getting the good concepts and interlinking, the things would be very easy for you. And history, for history, it is also a very good thing that once you prepare history, it would be prepared for all time. It means that if you prepare your notes and synopsis, so next year you do not have to make any kind of improvisation. So this is one of the best thing with history optional.
In GS syllabus, history is the biggest part. In coaching also, we have 6 parts of the history: ancient, medieval, modern, art and culture, world history, post-independence history. So even coverage of them would require a major chunk of the effort. So for on an average, we have 1,000 hours of classes. So out of that, 200, close to 200 goes in the history. So I think the optional student will be able to help in that part, and they don't have to worry much about this section. That is what you believe, sir?
Right. But I think that, see, choosing optional paper is very, you can say, a specific factor. And generally, maximum of the students, they do mistake while they have to choose an optional paper. So there are so many criteria that some people believe that they should go with the trend, means some subjects are in trend, so we should take that optional. Some other people believe that if the syllabus is very short, then they should go with that optional. And some think that some subjects are scoring, some are non-scoring. So these are the things and these are the myths. We should not be driven by that, because choosing optional basically makes or breaks your career. So 99% of students who are not getting success, they are doing the same mistake. So for me, from the experience of 16 years as a teaching career, or in my students, you can say, session, I understood that how to choose optional. The best answer would be that you should go with 11th and 12th class NCERT books. If there is no NCERT books available on that particular subject, you should go with a particular standard book. And we should read the topics, and after reading the topics, we should try to attempt PYU question. So if we were doing previous year question, though without even having perfection, if your pen is not going to stuck, then that optional would be suitable for you. So I would advise to aspirants that don't choose your optional subjects based on these myths that which is a scoring or non-scoring, because actually it is the aspirant which does a score, not the subject. First thing. The second thing is that if a subject is having very small, you can say, syllabus, and that is not large syllabus, but it is quite possible that the first or second topic is not, you can say, easily comprehensible, and that's why in that case if you choose a small subject as an optional, and if you are not good at that subject, it you can say would be ruining your career. Along with that, we find that there are so many optional which are having you can say thinkers. For history, there are no thinkers. So in the papers which are having thinkers, generally we find that either the students would be doing very good a score, or you can say they would be getting very small score. And in that case, you can say always there will be trouble in getting the success in UPSC examination. So choosing optional is very important thing. It's very individualized and personal thing. And the best criteria as far as my experience is concerned, I would like to suggest the students that you should go with the reading part first, standard books or NCERT, and then you start writing. And if you are writing without having any stuck, then that is good thing for choosing optional as a grade.
So I was coming to that question, sir. So what should be the approach towards the history optional first, the interested aspirants, and the material sources? Can you name some books also? That is the first question, the sources. And second is how much time normally it takes for a student to complete this optional, because time is also a very important factor for aspirants.
Basically, though by and large history is having some vast syllabus, but if you prepare it, it takes 5 or 6 months. And for a history optional, even you see, if you are even not joining coaching, you can say you can prepare it at your home if you are joining somewhere mentorship, because to prepare history is easy than other subjects. It is not having any kinds of thinkers, first thing. The second thing is that one should try to make self-made synopsis. Once you have prepared your synopsis, then it will be working every year while you are trying the mains. So it takes 5 to 6 months to complete the entire syllabus. As far as the important sources are concerned, we find that this is very advantageous position for the, you can say, history optional students, that the books which are being read for general study, almost the same books you have to study for optional. For example, Placid to Partition is one of the best books which is trending nowadays for modern history. So that has to be studied by the history optional students as well as general study students. Along with that, you can say this year also we find that some questions were coming directly for IGNOU materials. Though IGNOU materials are not suggested for general studies, but as it is a government material, and I always believe in the fact that if you want to go into government services, you should study the government materials. So IGNOU materials, NIOS materials, and you can say NCERTs, these are very important. So that would be also basically benefiting the students who are choosing history optional. Along with that, BL Grover, that is also important for in modern India, that is important for optional students, but some general studies questions are also coming from there. So almost you can say similar types of standard books are used. So for ancient history, you can say old NCERT, new NCERT plus Upinder Singh, and IGNOU materials. For medieval history, you can say IGNOU materials, old NCERT, new NCERT, and JL Mehta for some particular topics. And for modern India, you can say Placid to Partition, old NCERT and new NCERT, and some specific topics you can consult with Sumit Sarkar book, especially the economic related subjects. And for world history, there is a, you can say, David Mason book, very small book that is very, very important. And then the NCERTs are there. NCERTs, old NCERTs written by Anwarul Haq and then Arjun Dev. So these are more than sufficient for the entire preparation of UPSC if somebody is having history as optional.
Sir, also share the success stories, because students always look at, though we had some good success stories 2 years ago, rank 1, all India rank 1 was from history optional. My students also at Edge, we had Apurva Sinha, she was a history optional student. So just want the students that what success stories we have also, so that students are motivated for that.
Actually, success is very subjective thing. Generally, we find that the students would be choosing optional by going through the trends, but that would not be very helpful in my opinion. But yes, success should be there so that it would be being a motivation factor. So in 16 years of my career, almost 120 students of mine with, you can say, history optional in civil services as well as state examination. They have qualified and they have done tremendous well, because from the very beginning, I was having the focus that all the students, they should do the study of original text first thing, and the second thing is that they should make the self-made synopsis. So if two factors are there, your synopsis is ready, and the second thing, you have studied thoroughly the standard books. Now nobody is going to stop you from getting success. So these two important key factors are there.
Now, coming to the myths part that you already covered, uh, how if somebody is preparing history optional, let's say I'm preparing history optional, so what should my approach step by step? And I want you to discuss about how you start from zero till the end, and how, as a mentor and teacher, you feel that your role is very important in the guidance part.
So see, basically, the teacher is a person who makes or breaks the career. And we are faculty as well as mentors from the very beginning of our careers. We believe in mentorship. The second thing is that from the very beginning, we are involved in a kind of a spirit which is a Gurukula script. So wherever I teach, for example, the Edge IAS also believes in the same thing. It's the spirit of Gurukul. So we are completely involved with our students. We monitor their study of original books. And the specific thing that in history optional, from the very beginning, I focus on some specific types of question, assertion region type of question. So if students are good at assertion region types of question, it means that they have properly studied NCERT books, because assertion region types of questions are based on maximum conceptual level, and if you are not good at conceptual level, it would not be able to solve by you. So that's why by going through the assertion region process, I make them conceptually very strong, first thing. The second thing, they thoroughly study the books, and from the very first week, it means that if we start from Monday, after 5 days, we do the 3 hours, you can say, class test every week. And the people are very able to write the, you can say, the test paper of 3 hours, though they are not that much having perfection, but perfection takes time. For example, we see that for Amir Khan, we can take the example. He brought his movie Tare Zameen Par after 24 years. So it takes time. In the very beginning, you cannot get the perfection. And for humanities, even perfection is, you can say, not that much, you can say, demanding thing, because you are not going to get 300 out of 300. It means that the model answer concept is there, but it is also very subjective or individualized. So this is the process. And that's why we start the process from the very first week of our you can say, classroom programs. Weekly test is held by us, and after the completion of 5 or 6 months course, you can say, again we do the test series with our students, and we provide 20 tests, and that even you can say, we do not charge any kind of, you can say, supplementary charge for that additional test series. So for 1 year or 2 year or 3 years, if our fundamental, you can say, or you can say, foundation course students, they would be coming, they do not have to pay any kind of you can say, fee. So once you are enrolled at Edge IAS, so you do not have to pay for the test series in future also. So that is one of important forte of ours.
So to summarize the history optional as a subject, now the normally students who choose optional, there are various ways. The first is the interest, second is your background, third is your maybe the guidance, mentorship, the books, material, sources that is available, convergence with GS syllabi. So these are broader parameters on which we choose optional. Now coming to history optional, it is an optional which is still relevant, and it has high convergence with GS syllabus. And I personally believe that the students who are preparing history optional, they should look at SIR for the guidance support. And if you have any concern and doubt, you can always reach out to us, discuss us, because the best part of SIR is that he is available as a mentor even after the completion of the module, the coaching, and it's a 24/7 approach. I have personally seen the effort made by SIR, that things he makes sure that the effort is there and the support till selection is there. So the people who are interested in history optional, whether you have done your history optional, also you can take guidance for mentoring for test series, or in general completion of the syllabus if the things are not ready. And it is important that to be covered properly. Now, that is something that what we do at Edge IAS, as sir mentioned, that we have a very student centric, very personalized one-to-one support, because every journey is unique and different. So if you're an aspirant, your journey would, the sources might be common, but the approach might be varying, because every aspirant has their own way of doing things. So it is very natural for aspirants to find somebody, a mentor, a guide who can actually steer the journey. So we are more like a GPS, who help to reach the right place at right way. Now coming to the in general part of the sir that I want to discuss further, that sir, history as a subject also for GS is very important. Now, and in the last few years, we have witnessed that this year maybe a lot of questions were doable, but in last 3-4 years, history as a subject in GS has also been very unpredictable. So if you have any input for new aspirants, what should they do and how should they do, and how we can help them to maybe able to overcome this uncertain part.
I would be trying to invite all the aspirants who are very serious to Edge IAS, because I generally say that if you are at Edge IAS, you will always have an upper age. So because we here believe in, government materials. So from the very beginning, we focus on the reading of NCERTs. The second thing is, we should also try to understand, the changing trend of history, and the changing trend of India as well. Because government has to also, make a role, when the examination is to be conducted, because though UPSC is autonomous body, but many types of questions, they are related to Prime Minister's speech or the President's speech. So what I want to say that this is the phase of revivalism, this is the phase of back to our roots. So in that case, ancient history is very, very important, because if the bureaucrats who are going to serve our nation, if they are not associated with the roots of India, they cannot understand the actual problems of India. And if they do not know the actual problems of our country, how they would be making improvement. So we have to, our UPSC, the purpose of UPSC examination is basically like middle path of Buddha. Buddha says that the entire world is, or the life is full of sorrows, but he also comes with solution. So a bureaucrat has to understand the problem parts, the problems which are existing in country, and for that understanding of history is very, very important, because history means basically the term history has coming from Greek word, ancient Greek word historia, and historia means to inquire, learning by inquiry. So we have to look, beyond the time. We have to look our past, that what were the traits prevailing in our past life in, society, in field of religion, in field of, politics and administration, in the field of economy. So that the mistakes done by our ancestors, our rulers of India or the rulers of the world, that has to be checked. And the good things which have been done by them, that has to be incorporated by today's, bureaucrats. So we find that, for example, if we take the examples of Indian history, we find that there are 3 or 4 important rulers who are, very much praised in India. Like, for example, Ashoka. So Ashoka, what he did, he not only having the practical approach, but also he tried to uplift the spiritual life of the people. He was the first, ruler of India who understood the diversity, and through the policy of Dhamma, he tried to unify the entire nation. Along with that, we find that Akbar and the Firoz Shah Tughlaq, people like this, what they did, basically, they tried to change the, attitude of the state, because in the beginning or in ancient or medieval period, we find that there was a police state, the concept of police state. So even that era was the age of police state. They tried to bring some welfare, ingredients in that, and they tried to change the nature of a police state into welfare state, and that's why they are remembered by us. So the bureaucrats have to understand understand first the problems, and then they have to also take some inspiration or some, you can say, some kind of lesson from the past to bring the solution as well. So in this sense, history has a great relevance for today's bureaucrats, and that's why in that case we find that general study, the history would be always have a great role to play. So ancient history is very important in mains and as well as prelims, because our roots are very much associated with the ancient Indian period, and that's why for that. But the problem is that the old NCRT, they are having some limitation because they are lacking the stories of unsung heroes of India, deliberately or you can say unknowingly, I do not know, but they have been sidelined. And if we are Indians, or if we are going to become Indian bureaucrats, if our stories of unsung heroes are not studied by us, then it will be creating problems, because the real solution would not be brought by the, you can say, bureaucrats. And that's why UPSC is having very great emphasis on ancient history understanding, and so you can say so many new books are also in trend. For example, the best book is Upender Singh or Upender Kumar book, means you can say from Delhi University, because that is that book is covering the entire, you can say, traits of different dimensions of the society, the politics, administration, and culture. And the IGNOU materials are also important. So the one suggestion I would be like to bring for the students is that they should take interest in, you can say the ancient terminologies or ancient history. And if you are good at ancient history, automatically the other parts of history would be strengthened. So this is one suggestion. And along with that, you see that the pre-medieval period, because pre-medieval period we hardly have information, or you can say healthy information, in old NCRTs. So that is also gray area where the stories of unsung heroes of India are not there. So you have to take the help from some other books also, and that's why sometimes you see that Tamil Nadu board books become very important. So that is also important thing. For modern India, they are also trying to you can say focus on the parts which are a bit deliberately sidelined. So there are also in modern India so many great heroes who sacrificed their life, but their stories are not sung by the historians. So now you have to understand that this is the period of revivalism, and that's why our focus has to be also there. We must have a sense of inquiry towards the, you can say, the ancient past, because without knowing that past, we cannot have good solution for future. So we have to take a lesson from there, and this is why history is studied also.
Okay. So that is all for the optional the history optional students who are preparing, and we have covered the basic things. For rest, people who are really interested in this optional, also in GS history area, if you need any help, and if you want to crack the prelims examination, you should come at us and take our help, support, the test series and guidance program and mentorship program, because mentorship is holistically led by Vineet sir and me. Both of us have a wide experience, 16 years and almost 14 years. So we have 30 years of together experience that we have of UPSC, and we have given mains interview multiple times. So that makes a difference in terms of understanding the requirements of exam. So I will urge all the students that if you want shortcut, no, we don't advise shortcut. We want real success, and that will come with discipline and perseverance. So thank you very much for all the inputs, and we'll complete the session here. Thanks for the time that Vineet sir has given.
Thank you once again for having me.
Yes. Okay. So take care. Thank you.